Most people think that people pleasing is about being kind and helpful, but the truth is it's actually one of the most damaging subconscious survival strategies that are keeping high achievers burnt out, anxious, and stuck in toxic dynamics. If this is you, I want you to listen carefully because what I'm about to share with you is going to completely change your perspective on people pleasing. People pleasing isn't about kindness, it's about survival. It's your subconscious mind's way of avoiding conflict and maintaining connection at any cost. While you think you're being nice, your brain is actually running an old survival program, one that's designed to keep you safe, accepted, and liked by the tribe. People pleasing, just so that we're all on the same page, is when you prioritize other people's needs and desires and emotions over your own. You struggle to set boundaries, express your needs, or advocate for yourself, leaving you resentful and angry deep down. And here's the part you might not want to hear, is that people pleasing is actually an unconscious form of manipulation. And this isn't in a malicious way, but when you people please, you're not being honest. You're lying. You're lying to yourself and to your friends and to your family and to your coworkers. You're doing the very thing that you probably don't want other people doing to you. You're pretending to be okay with something when you're just not. And you're doing it to get approval. And this sabotages your relationships, your career, and your health. Imagine if someone lied to you all the time just to keep you happy. Would you trust them? Probably not. Well, that's what people pleasing is. It's hiding behind a lie. It's wearing a mask. And here's the reality. When you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one, especially yourself. If you're hiding behind a false version of yourself, you're setting the foundation for dysfunctional relationships. So just tell the truth. But why is it so hard to be honest, especially with the people who are closest to us? I get it because I used to be there. I used to be a professional people pleaser. Trust me. I did what I could to make others happy just to avoid conflict and just so that I could keep the peace. I grew up in an alcoholic household where if you said the wrong thing, did the wrong thing, it was like a ticking time bomb. And as a little kid, my subconscious mind learned to be kind. Do what you're told and don't wake the beast. Your people-pleasing behavior is rooted deeply within your subconscious mind. And this is so important to understand because this is what's keeping you stuck. So people-pleasing is connected to the fawn response. This is a trauma response that kicks in when fight, flight, or freeze don't really feel like options. It develops in childhood when a little one learns that pleasing others is actually the safest way to avoid getting abused, rejected, or abandoned. If you're a people pleaser, chances are you grew up in a home where love and affection were conditional and only given to you if you were good. Your parents or caregivers were probably emotionally unpredictable, neglectful, and even abusive. This is what I experienced. Expressing your needs, emotions, or boundaries would lead to punishment or withdrawal of love. Or you had to become the emotional caretaker of your parent. This is also known as parentification. So your brain adapted. Your subconscious mind learned that in order to maintain connection to your caregivers, you had to sacrifice your own needs to make them happy because as a child, maintaining that connection equals survival. You need that connection to your parents in order to survive. Your subconscious mind downloaded the people-pleasing program as a way to keep you safe. Now, when I talk about a program is a belief that gets installed into the subconscious mind. A belief can get handed down in a number of ways. We can get them from our parents. They carry a belief and they imprint it upon us, usually unconsciously. We can have an experience, and from that experience, we try to decide, what does this experience mean? And so we decipher it through a belief that we create. Oh, mom's angry all the time. It must be because I'm doing something wrong. So we believe there's something wrong with me. Right? So that gets programmed as a belief into the subconscious mind. So the programs and beliefs that your subconscious mind downloaded, if you're a people pleaser, which I'm assuming you are, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video, are if I make everyone happy, I'll be safe. If I express my needs, I might get rejected. If I'm perfect and agreeable, I'll be loved. And if I do what they want, they'll keep me around. And these beliefs become part of the subconscious operating system that's running in the background of your life. And here's the thing, your subconscious mind downloads all of this before your logical or your conscious mind even develops. Between the ages of being in your mother's womb up until the age of 7, your brain is mostly in theta waves. It's a deeply absorbent hypnotic state. So your subconscious mind, that's what's online, and it's downloading and absorbing everything like a sponge. Everything it experiences and survives, even if it's traumatic, becomes coded into the subconscious mind as survivable. Meaning you're here today to tell the story. That means you survived whatever you went through. So if you survive dysfunction, your subconscious mind learns that dysfunction is survivable. So it's going to be drawn to people that will help you recreate that particular flavor of dysfunction because it knows how to navigate that territory. It knows how to survive that. That's why you date the same person with a different face. Or you keep attracting that same type of boss. Your subconscious mind doesn't care if these patterns are outdated. It doesn't care if you're having a hard time in life with these patterns. It only cares about keeping you alive. That's why saying no feels so hard, even as an adult, because your subconscious mind still perceives disappointing others as a threat. And to make things worse, your subconscious mind also wants you to belong to the group. Because being part of the group equals protection and survival, and this is particularly important for women. If you think about back in the caveman days, if a woman was excluded from the group, definitely meant death for her. She didn't have any protection, especially if she was pregnant. So being part of the group equals protection and survival. So your subconscious mind will go along with the group, with whatever the group wants, even if it goes against your intuition, your personal needs, and what makes you happy. It's important to understand that the subconscious mind cares more about quantity of life. This is how long you live. Your conscious mind cares about quality of life. Do I have a fulfilling purpose? Am I married to the person that, lights my soul up with joy? Am I fulfilling on my dreams and my destiny in life? That's quality of life. And the thing is, your subconscious mind will always win, because it controls 95% of your decisions, your behaviors, and your emotions. Before I proceed, I have to tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with your brain. In fact, your brain is doing an amazing job. It's doing an amazing job at keeping you safe. It's just that this pattern is simply a result of how your brain was wired when you were a child. People pleasing is actually a very smart strategy on behalf of your subconscious. Think of it like a chameleon. It's constantly changing colors to blend in and avoid danger. The problem is that as adults, we keep saying yes to everyone else at work and in relationships until we're completely burnt out, anxious, and resentful. So how do you break free? All that needs to be done, if you really want to break free of this behavior, is that you need to update your subconscious mind to know that saying no and honoring your own needs and having boundaries is safe. It's just like updating the software on your phone. Imagine having the latest iPhone or Android, but it's still running the original software from when the first phone was made. What do you think is going to happen when you try to open an app? It's probably going to crash. The phone's not going to work. It's going to shut down. You're probably going to have to restart it a bunch. The phone isn't going to be able to do what it's designed to do because the programming is outdated. And that's exactly what's happening in your subconscious mind. If you want different results, you need to have different programming. I used to people please all the time. I'd go along with what everybody else wanted, thinking it would make them like me. I put other people's feelings before my own, and I gave up my time, my goals, and my energy just to keep the peace and just to have friends. But here's the twist. Every time you say no to others, you're actually saying yes to yourself. When you start prioritizing your own well-being, you become more pleasant to be around, more energized, and you do better work. But when you abandon yourself to make others happy, the anxiety builds and it builds and it builds, and that's when it backfires. You ever notice how people pleasers will sometimes just explode out of nowhere? That's because years of suppressed emotions finally erupt. And ironically, that's what's sabotaging the relationships the most. Think of it like a tea kettle, and instead of it just slightly whistling as the water's boiling inside of it, it just screams with fury. And that's what happens to a lot of people pleasers. There's no warning sign. It just erupts all of a sudden. I worked with a client who constantly took on extra work, and she was just terrified of disappointing her boss. And just after a few sessions, we reprogrammed her belief that saying no equals rejection and possibly getting fired. And when we explored through a session what was going on within her subconscious, what her subconscious was pulling up was a memory of her abusive mother hitting her every time she didn't do what she was told. So anytime her boss gave her extra work to do, her brain ushered in this memory. Hey, remember what your mother did? Just say yes, just say yes, just say yes. So she would say yes for survival reasons. Her subconscious mind had implemented this people-pleasing behavior to keep her safe. How impressive is that? But that strategy worked for her when she was little, but it's not working for her as an adult because it's leaving her stressed and exhausted. And what's amazing is that now she can set boundaries with zero guilt and has more time for what actually matters to her. She's actually enjoying her life now. So in order to change this self-sabotaging behavior, you need to reprogram the subconscious beliefs that are keeping people-pleasing in place. That was an alliteration. Next, you got to look and heal the ancestral patterns of self-sacrifice, because in my experience, this is deeply rooted on the maternal line. People-pleasing isn't a personality trait. It's a survival response that was programmed into your subconscious mind at a very young age. And the good news is it can be reprogrammed. It is revisable. So if you're tired of the anxiety, the overwhelm, and the constant fear of letting people down, it's time to break the cycle. So if you're ready to reprogram this pattern and finally set boundaries without the guilt, I want you to go ahead and book a 15-minute Zoom call with me. This is completely complimentary. The link is in the description below. Let's get you free and eliminate these self-sabotaging behaviors. If you like this video and you made it this far, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and share it with somebody that you too think can get value out of it as well. I hope you all have an amazing week ahead of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.